previously stated, I think we're okay on the other.
Yes, I do.
You already handed it back. Your Honor, may I publish the jury?
Oh, you may.
Okay. Sergeant Douglas, I believe where we left off was you had sent off a search warrant. Explain to us like what we're going to be looking at.
So these are Google search results that came back in the activity of Dirt to Diamonds podcast at gmail.com.
And how did that relate to Tim Harrington?
This is the email address that was on the Red Eye 24 Snapchat account that had his phone number as the recovery phone number and all to identify that it is his account.
Okay. And looking at these search results, could you tell me if there's a relevant one or relevant? Tell me about the relevant ones.
There are a few relevant ones on the sheet that you have.
Tell me where to go.
Let me ask you this. Do you want all of those introduced, or do you want just the relevant ones introduced?
Yeah, the entire package. It's just that we're just going to go. He's going to go to specific ones to point out, but the entire package will be there for.
Your Honor, I understand that you may want to introduce the entire package, and I've had an opportunity to look at some of them, but I don't know what else is there for 10 days prior. I don't know what the time frame is. Is it relevant to the time frame in question?
I would like to, anything that you feel is relevant, let's narrow it down to that. Either side feel is relevant. I'd like to narrow it down to that time frame.
At some point in time.
At some point in time,
Thank
okay?
you, Your Honor.
Okay. So, explain to us the time frame that these Google searches cover, and these are Google searches, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Explain to us the time frame that this covers.
This would cover the entire time frame of the search warrant. So May. May 28th to July 22nd of 2022.
Your Honor, I think that, I hate to keep jumping up, but surely at some point in time, the council can get together and not take some stuff.
I would like for y'all to try to do that anyway.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, we don't plan to go through every message. We're going to go through a few. Sergeant Douglas, take me to the date of Jay Lee's disappearance. Tell me about the relevant searches on July 8th, 2022.
So on July 8th of 2022 at 5:56 a.m., there is a Google search for how long does it take to strangle someone, Gabby Petitio.
Okay, so July 8th.
That's on the 7th page of this document.
Okay. Just a second. These aren't timed. Okay. Is it appearing up there? Is it? Can you? Okay. So, let me do this. Right here. You see can you see the little arrow?
Yes.
The little red arrow? Okay. Tell me, what time is that?
That is 5:56 a.m. Central.
And what time does it come in? Like what time is was listed on the searches?
It comes in that universal time, that UTC, and it says 10:56:54.
Explain a little bit like what universal UTC time is.
It's just another time zone that's different than ours, as far as I understand.
So when you move it to our time zone, what time was this search made?
This search was made at 5:56 a.m. on that Central Time.
And it said, how long does it take to strangle someone, Gabby Petito? Were you able to learn anything? Do you know who Gabby Petito is?
I'm kind of familiar, but not really.
It's interpreting the content of the message objectively.
Yeah, well, I asked if you know.
I'm gonna, if he knows who Gabby Petito is, I'm gonna let him ask, but I don't answer, but I don't. Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't have intimate knowledge of any of it.
Okay.
I just know the name from that. There was a big case about it.
Okay. Did you discover anything about this search?
As in what?
As in, how long does it take to strangle someone, Gabby Petito? About what happens when you search? How long does it? Tell me.
Yes. So whenever you search, how long does it take to strangle someone? This is the first thing that pops up in the Google search bar, the autocomplete. So whenever you're typing things in the Google and they autocomplete, this is the first one that pops up.
Okay. So as you're typing that, it auto completes with the name Gabby Petito.
Yes.
Okay. And what you said that this was what time when you converted to our time?
5:56 a.m.
And if you could remind me, what time was Jay Lee's account texting open to Tim Harrington's Red Eye account? I believe you said that was the final message. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
The time of open was at 6:03:15 a.m.
Okay. And was there any further message between the two accounts after 6:03 a.m.?
No, ma'am.
And this one was at 5:56 a.m., the Google search.
This Google search was at 5:56 a.m. Yes.
Okay. Also on is there any searches that took place after this that were of relevance?
Yes, ma'am.
You can tell me where to go to find those.
The very first page on the back of it.
And
On July 10th, it'll say July 10th at 8:10:44 UTC, which would be 3:10 p.m.
Okay. Am I the arrow pointing to the right?
Yes, ma'am. He searches the Molly Bar apartments. UPD on the 10th released the press notice that Jay Lee was missing this same day around this same time. At this time, UPD had not found the vehicle yet. We didn't know where it was at. And once that notice comes out from UPD, he Googles Molly Bar apartments at 3:10 p.m.
Right. And
which happens to be where the car is eventually located.
were you involved in the creation of that press release?
I was. I created the press release and sent it to Lieutenant McGuire to then submit.
And what day and time did you, was it sent out, if you can remember?
I remember it was sent out on July 10th. I know that I sent it to Shayla sometime afternoon.
I'm sorry to hear that last part.
Sometime afternoon is whenever I sent it to Shayla. I'm not sure when she clicked send on the post to put it up.
And may I have this marked for ID as States Exhibit
31.
31? I'm handing the witness what is now been marked for ID as States Exhibit 31. Do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you, what do you recognize it as? What is it?
This is the document that was released on July 10th as a press release for the fact that Jaylee had not been seen or heard from since July 8th.
And is that the one that you created?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And at this time, I would move to enter the press release into evidence.
Any objections?
No.
All right, it'll be admitted.
What number was that, Ron?
31. If I'm counting right. Kathy, give me the high sign.
And may I publish the jury?
Okay?
Your Honor, I want to state, I hope the press isn't getting the fact that our plastic's falling down on the window.
Yeah, I know. What?
Maybe the board of supervisors need to find out.
Yeah, we can get some spray paint this afternoon. Y'all, I think everybody but me can see, so we're all right. But it shows me my best light, I think, don't y'all, this profile view?
Sergeant Douglas, could you tell me what information did y'all have at the time of the release of this press release about like Jaylee's disappearance?
We had the video from housing that showed that he had left, when he had left, what he was wearing when he left. We had information from the university that gave information about his car, and we had information about him that showed his date of birth, height, how much he weighed, things of that nature.
And if you could, I'm going to point to sort of the missing person details. What was Jaylee's height and weight?
He was 5'7", and weighed 120 pounds.
I'm going to go back to the searches, that very first page. If you could look for me at the top, the third, or that very first page, the first one from the bottom, or not the first one, but the second one from the bottom.
Yes, ma'am.
Please read what that search is.
It says Ole Miss student found in lake.
And what time of day was that search?
4:32 p.m.
On July 10th?
Yes.
And the next one,
The next one is a link to people.com, the Ali Castile murder.
who is Ali Castile?
Ali Castile is the victim of a murder in Lafayette County.
Was she also an Ole Miss student?
She was.
And the last few, and what time was that one at?
4:32 p.m.
And the last few searches, are they all about that? Like top search, what's that one?
They are. There's a New York Post article about it, and then there's a KTLA article about it.
I'm going to go back to search warrants. I know you got the Google one for Tim Harrington's Google account. Did you get another one?
I did.
And what was that one?
I got one for Meta, so Facebook and Instagram. I sent one to Meta.
No, it's too big. Search warrant. Oh, there it is. Apologize. Yeah, you don't have some. Actually, can I have this marked for ID as States Exhibit 32? And I'll have them identify that. Sergeant Douglas, I have painted you what's previously been marked for identification as States Exhibit 32. Do you recognize that States Exhibit 32?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, and is that the search warrant that you did for Tim Harrington's accounts?
It is. This is the first one. We did a second one. So the first one we sent, and Meta did not want to comply with it, and we sent this one initially on July 22nd. They refused it, so we returned it on August 23rd, and we got a second one on August 5th signed. We also returned that one on August 23rd.
And let me make sure I got there's two of them. No wonder there were two of them. This must be the other one. Is this a search warrant that you did?
Yes.
So the one that I just gave you is the search warrant that,
That is the one that was signed on July 22nd.
and when did you get the next one?
I signed the next one, or I got the next one signed.
Yeah, when you got
on
the next
August 5th. We received the data on August 15th.
Okay, so this is the one. States Exhibit 32 is going to be the first search warrant for ID. And this is going to be the second one. Handing the witness what has been identified now as States Exhibit 33. Do you recognize that, Sergeant Douglas?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. And is that second search warrant you were just referring to?
Yes, ma'am.
And you sent it to Tim Harrington's Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. What were those Instagram and Facebooks?
The handle for the Facebook was timmy.harrington.3, and the Instagram was Tim the CEO.
receive a return from that one?
I did.
And was it a large return?
There was a decent amount of data on the return. We got names, addresses, search history, telephone numbers, IP addresses, things of that nature.
Okay. And did you review that entire return and pull portions to talk about here today?
Yes, we did.
Have this marked for us as specific 34, right? Sergeant, I'm handing Sergeant Douglas what has now been marked as State's Exhibit 34 for identification. Do you recognize this, Sergeant Douglas?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is a download of search history data from Meta, from Facebook.
And tell me, is this all of it or just a portion of it?
This is all of the search history that we were given.
What was the time frame?
The time frame, May 28th through July 22nd.
May 28, 2022 to July 27, 2022?
22nd,
Oh,
2022.
22nd, 2022. Okay. And does that accurately reflect that time frame you requested?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the full searches for the time frame you requested?
This is the full, whenever we open the document on the computer, when we open the document on the computer, this is the full document
Okay.
that's was related to search history.
Searches. And this time, Your Honor, I would like to have State's Exhibit 34 entered into evidence.
Same objection.
All right, previous objections be noted, I'm going to admit it into evidence.
Your Honor, may I publish to the jury?
You may.
Sergeant Douglas, tell me about what page to go to for any searches that piqued your interest.
So on the first page, on 7/10/2022, the UTC time is 10/21/37/36. He searched on Facebook Tony Faris. The UTC time converted to Central would be 4:37 p.m.
Okay. And so what would that time be in Central Time?
4:37 p.m.
And what day was that?
July 10th.
And who was Tony Faris?
Tony Faris was the lawyer that represented the defendant in the Ali Castile murder.
Alex Steele was a student from Ole Miss.
From Ole Miss, the same one in the search history from Google around the same time frame.
Oh, so from when we were looking at the Google from the Ali Steele murder, these are done how close in time?
Within the same minute.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Within a minute or within the same time.
Were there any other searches that I should look at here? We should show the jury.
So if you go to the second page, halfway down, on the 11th, you'll see 044635 UTC.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
He searched on Facebook Oxford, Mississippi Police Department at 11:46 p.m. That's on July 10th.
what is that time when converted to Pacific, our time?
11:46 p.m.
11:46. And now what search do I need to go to next?
If you look one down from that, at 03:02:18, at 10:02 p.m. on 7/11/22. It says Ole Miss Police. He searched Ole Miss Police. Directly underneath that one, he also searched Jimmy Lee at 4:01 a.m. on the 12th. If you go further down, or on the next page, you'll see that he Googles, or that he searches on Facebook, Oxford, Mississippi Police multiple times on the 13th and on the 14th. And on the 15th.
And tell me, like, what days are these?
These are the days.
Like, what day of a year?
What
month
day?
of the year?
Yes.
I apologize.
Yes.
The month and
So
year.
this would be July 7/15, so July 15th of 2022.
And he's searching what?
He's repeatedly searching either Jimmy Lee, or he's searching Oxford Police, or Find Jimmy Lee, or Ole Miss Police, keeping up with the investigation, it seems like, by looking over and over again for Jimmy Lee, Oxford Police, Jimmy Lee Ole Miss, Jimmy J. Lee.
And what, do you remember, do you know what day Timothy Harrington ultimately was arrested for the disappearance of Jimmy Lee?
The 22nd.
And does he continue to make searches like that up until he's arrested?
Yes, ma'am.
Brief indulgence.
Okay.
Your Honor, I tender the witness.
All right, everybody good on the video? All right, you may cross-examine.
I'm gonna wait till she go in and get,
I'm sorry.
take your time.
Some stuff. Apologize.
You just-
I'll take that. Thank you.